Southwest Florida was America's pandemic boomtown. Prices up 75%, homes selling in days, and more than 60% of deals paid for in cash. But now, the region that once promised paradise is unraveling at breathtaking speed. Cape Coral holds the title of America's worst housing market, with 8% of homeowners underwater and median prices across every major city plunging up to 19%. Behind the headlines, a hurricane that caused $112.9 billion in damage, insurance premiums spiking to $25,000, and a cascade of foreclosures reminiscent of 2008. Everyone thought the Florida dream was bulletproof. So why is the entire southwest coast collapsing at the same time? And could it ever recover? The real answers start with how this frenzy began. It began with a promise: sunshine, no state income tax, and a slice of affordable paradise. During the pandemic, thousands of Americans headed south.
Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Punta Gorda turned into magnets for cash-rich buyers from New York, Chicago, and Boston. By 2021, over 60% of all home sales were all cash, many from buyers who had never even visited Florida. Agents described bidding wars on homes that had sat idle for years. From 2020 to 2022, property values jumped 75%. In Cape Coral, a three-bedroom that sold for $250,000 before the pandemic hit $440,000 by mid-2022. In Naples, the median price soared past $950,000, a rise we've been breaking down here at Roofline Report, so if you haven't yet, subscribe. Builders raced to meet demand. Between 2020 and 2022, officials issued over 50,000 new residential permits across Lee, Collier, and Charlotte counties, ranking the region 13th in the nation for new construction. Cape Coral and Fort Myers alone accounted for nearly 30,000 permits, more than double their usual pace. Then came September 26, 2022. Hurricane Ian made landfall as a Category 4 storm, pushing a wall of water into the heart of Southwest Florida. Fort Myers Beach, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, entire neighborhoods erased in hours. Streets disappeared under 6 feet of water, and 6,000 homes in Cape Coral suffered major damage. The final toll, $112.9 billion, the third costliest hurricane in U.S. history. The physical destruction was followed by financial disaster. Insurance costs exploded. Annual premiums that once averaged $2,000 or $3,000 now range from $15,000 to $25,000, with flood insurance adding thousands more. Private carriers fled the state, leaving homeowners dependent on Citizens Property Insurance Corporation, Florida's insurer of last resort. In just 18 months, Citizens' policy count doubled to 1.2 million homes, shifting enormous risk to taxpayers statewide. For many, the math stopped working. Buyers walked away when insurance quotes arrived. Homeowners took on sky-high deductibles or went uninsured, hoping to avoid another storm season. Meanwhile, the housing boom reversed. Inventory ballooned to 8.8 months of supply, far above the balanced level of 6. In Bonita Springs, homes lingered on the market for 9 months. Across the region, more than half of all listings were reduced in price. The average sale-to-list ratio dropped to 96%, meaning buyers now expect discounts on every offer. Prices fell hard. Naples down 19.2%, Punta Gorda 18.6%, Fort Myers 12.2%, Cape Coral 13.7%. Median prices in Cape Coral and Fort Myers now hover around $375,000, far below their peaks. Foreclosures surged next. Lee County's filings rose 60% in a single year. In Cape Coral, 1 in every 2,200 homes sits in legal distress. Families who'd never missed a payment until insurance doubled. The share of all cash sales fell from over 60% to about 50%, signaling investors and retirees are pulling back. Builders, stuck with excess supply, began offering heavy incentives, rate buydowns, $50,000 upgrades, even backyard pools, deals existing homeowners can't match. Older houses built before 2010 can't compete with hurricane-rated new builds that carry lower premiums and warranties. Condo owners face their own crisis. After the Surfside collapse in 2021, new state laws require structural inspections and higher reserves. That's meant special assessments between $20,000 and $100,000 per unit, and HOA fees doubling or tripling. In Naples, one retiree now faces a $44,000 assessment and monthly dues higher than her Social Security check. Condo sales across the region are down 20–27%, and financing older buildings is nearly impossible. The region's economy feels the strain. The median household income of $57,000 can't support insurance bills that eat up a third of paychecks. Teachers, nurses, and first responders are priced out of the very communities they serve. USPS change of address data shows up to 10% of households in parts of Lee and Charlotte counties have moved out since Hurricane Ian. School enrollments, hospital visits, and local business traffic all continue to fall. As migration reverses, job cuts ripple through construction and tourism. The rental market, once red hot, is cooling as short-term bookings fade and long-term rents fail to cover soaring costs. Today, Cape Coral has the highest rate of underwater homeowners in America. 8% owe more than their properties are worth. Naples still draws luxury buyers, but the middle of the market is collapsing. Economists say this isn't a classic housing bubble. It's a structural shift shaped by climate risk, insurance volatility, and stagnant wages. Unlike 2008, there's no wave of bad loans to refinance, no easy fix waiting from the Fed. The problem isn't credit, it's cost. As of October 2025, Southwest Florida's market stands transformed. Builder discounts, condo assessments, and 52% of listings cut in price mark a region still searching for balance. The Florida dream, once defined by sunshine and security, now comes with an asterisk: the true cost of living on the coast. And for thousands who bought at the top, the question isn't when the market will recover, but whether they can afford to stay long enough to see it. Subscribe to Roofline Report for more housing updates.